The success of the Lexus brand is thanks to the development of the original LS 400. It was able to take down the Germans in the late 80s and early 90s by providing equal if not better luxury, better driving experience, better technology for a substantially lesser price. 2 years ago I made a video on how the LS has fallen from grace, largely due to the sedan market just disappearing at the luxury end, but also because of the competition. The Genesis G90 that is sitting in my driveway right now makes the LS seem pointless and overpriced. In today's video, we're going to talk about the LS and what Lexus needs to do to make its baby, its flagship, relevant once again. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Kirk. I talk about Japanese and Korean cars on this channel. How fitting to talk about the LS when I have a G90 in my driveway. Took my kids to school today in it, and they're like, this is the Queen's car. They're 5 and 6 years old, and they're like, Dad, we folded down the armrest in the middle, but we put it back up. We didn't want to do anything we weren't supposed to. There's so many buttons, screens, technology, and the ride. Just wait for my review. I don't know how I'm going to review that thing. I feel like I would have to break it up into like 4 different videos because that vehicle is out of this world. So stay tuned for that review on the G90, and let's get into the LS. Lexus has quote unquote upgraded it for 2022. Well, at the end of 2022 for 2023 model year. All they've done is added the Lexus interface integration. It's the newest software. What does this do? Well, for most people, it's just going to give them Apple CarPlay, Android Auto wirelessly. They put more USBs in it. The starting price is $77,000, which continues to go up. But if you want the semi-autonomous driving software, you can get that on there for $113,000. So we're going to head to car figures and talk about the sales of the LS. It had a massive peak in 2007 when they debuted the LS 460, and it just fell off a cliff ever since then. In 2018, they came out with the LS 500 with a twin-turbo V6. They retired the V8. And they also reintroduced the hybrid back into there. Previously, there's a LS600HL, which had the hybrid powertrain with the V8. Probably one of the smoothest LSs out there. Definitely smoother than the new ones. And then there's also the LS500H now, which I would never pick over the V6 twin turbo, in my opinion. It's just not enough power there for $100,000 vehicle. Its biggest competitor, well, traditionally was the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Hey, in 2007, the LS was outselling it. But if we look at 2014, they're selling 25,000, but even the LS has sunk down in popularity. 2021, I think they had a redesign then, 14,000 units, which compared to the LS in 2021, less than 4,000 units. Infiniti and Honda have killed off their flagships with the Q70 as well as the Legend, aka RLX. And we need to look at the G90 here to see the sales, where this thing has gone. And is it selling as much as the LS? And the answer is, it's not far off. It's about half the sales of the LS in 2021. But I'm telling you, with this 2023 model year, when it goes for the full calendar year, I wouldn't be surprised if they outsell the LS, to be honest. What is coming for Lexus and the LS? All electric LS sedans could arrive before an LX EV. The headline is purely logical because we know that the LX/Land Cruiser isn't going to go away or get a redesign anytime soon. So they're saying the new LS EV would rival the EQS and i7. They're saying this could be on a new bespoke EV platform and arrive in the second half of the decade. Well, that's not necessarily a rumor. This is going to happen. Lexus has confirmed multiple times that they're going to have a separate EV platform for their high performance and high luxury vehicles. We know it's not going to be the ET&GA, for example. Easily costs $100,000. Well, the G90 in my driveway is $100,000. So I think that's where they could still provide a ton of value at $100,000 if they play their cards right. Don't be outdone by Genesis. Genesis is hungry. The Koreans are hungry to snap up that luxury spotlight. Lexus is resting on its laurels and it can't do it any longer, especially with the LS. Now, we know Lexus will be fully electric by 2030, so we have to have an LS EV before then. If we look back last December, a year ago already, when Lexus debuted its electrified future. And this vehicle, the sports electric concept, will come to production in some shape or form. And I think all of these will, to be honest. But there's no LS in here. I think it's because they just don't know what they're going to do with the LS or the LX in the future. So it was sad to see and concerning from just a fan of the brand, a fan of all the excellent generations of the LS previously, to not see it in their future. The vehicles I see here, this is a flagship. This is a cross-country version of this car, this 5-door, which I think it could just be called an IS coupe or IS liftback or something like that. This is definitely the IS sedan. If you look, these three models are essentially all the same vehicle. The front ends are nearly identical, and it's the roof lines, everything about, even the fourth one back here, the convertible, shares the same DNA as these other three vehicles. So there's no ES in here except for this guy back here. We don't know what the next generation ES will hold, but this is almost guaranteeing a plug-in hybrid of the ES before too long. But like I said, no LS in this mix. Man, the LS has its work cut out for it if Lexus wants to make it relevant once again. So as a battery electric vehicle, it's got to do a lot of things outside of the norm to make it special. I think solid state batteries would be the perfect ace up their sleeve to bring spotlight on the LS and just a whole lineup of Lexus vehicles. But solid state batteries are not going to be lathered into the Lexus lineup all at once. They got to do it with high priced vehicles first and trickle it down as they're able to mass produce them at a lower cost. So I think the LS, when it becomes electric, if they come out as one of the first or the first Toyota or Lexus vehicle to have solid state batteries, you got a winner on your hands. And if it comes in at $100,000 and puts in the kitchen sink like the Genesis G90 does, great. I don't care if Lexus needs to even take a loss, because when you're talking about flagship vehicles at this point, they don't need to be a moneymaker, but they set the precedent for the brand. They bring technology, features, design that trickles down to the rest of the lineup. And there's nothing in the LS right now that is this inspiring or trickles down into lesser Lexus models. You could say the new RX and the new NX are essentially the flagships. The LX, it's one step in the past with the Land Cruiser and one step in the future with some of its technology and features and amenities, but it doesn't feel super modern, even though it just came out this past year. The LS feels outdated. It's not nearly as smooth as the G90. It doesn't offer the same bang for your buck. It's uglier, in my opinion, than the G90 now that vehicle's been redesigned. And the competition for the LS doesn't stop with the S-Class, the Germans in general, and the Genesis G90. Everyone is interested in making electric vehicles. The Corvette brand is launching. I mean, Cadillac isn't scared of launching an ultra luxury EV either, as we know. So I think it's almost inevitable the next LS is a fully electric vehicle, probably by the later half of this decade. So we're maybe 5 years out minimum for the next LS. So there's a lot that can change. There's going to be a lot of technology changing from now until then, especially with batteries. Minimum of 400 horsepower. I would say probably 500 horsepower, since they currently offer 400 and around 420. I think it's 416 on the LS. So yeah, 500 horsepower, all-wheel drive, solid-state batteries, cutting-edge design. Look what they were able to do with the Prius. They totally shifted the mindset of what Prius is with just design alone, and then they added performance to it as well. That's what Lexus needs to do with the LS, the once flagship trophy of the luxury world, but now it's just a shadow, and no one is aspiring to own an LS compared to a decade, 2-3 decades ago. And Lexus, here's my little Dear John note to you. Don't take the LS out to the pasture and put it down like you did with the GS. Like you've done with the Avalon. Well, that's Toyota, but you know what I'm saying. Prove to the world once again, you can make the best full-size luxury sedan and leave everyone else in the dust. But I got to cut myself off. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Peace out.